This is a horror game podcast. It is meant for mature audiences. It may contain adult language, violence, and sexual themes, as well as shocking revelations. Viewer discretion is advised. Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Thom Raley. We are trying something a little different tonight, as you can see. The scenario is full Fathom Five. It was written by Paul Fricker, and it's available from Chaosium and from Drive-Thru RPG. Stefan Amshey is our keeper of arcane lore, and this is episode 1. But before we begin, I want to mention that we get most of our funding through our Patreon site. Your generous support helps to pay for our websites and our club space and everything that goes into our video production. It's your support that keeps us going, and we deeply appreciate it. That being said, and without any further delays, let's begin our journey into the darkness. Stefan?
Thanks, Thom. So for this scenario, we're going all the way back to 1847. So several decades prior even to the 1920s area that most of the Call of Cthulhu games we're familiar with are in. This is really the early end of the Industrial Revolution. And there was a brief period in history where whale oil held great importance in the economy of the world as a machine lubricant, as oil for lamps, as an ingredient in soap, even in margarine, that sort of thing. So it was hugely economically important prior to mass-produced vegetable oils and petroleum. And the process of rendering blubber and reducing it to its components and pulling out the whale oil was called trying out. So these whaling ships would sail out with a huge boiler on board, which was called a try-works, which was generally fueled with, coal or wood or whatever they could find. But also, once they'd squeezed most of the oil out of the strips of blubber, they would actually throw those in to help fuel the try-works as well. And so there's this gouts of black, greasy smoke coming out of these whaling ships all the time as they're processing whale blubber. The specific ship that your characters were on is called the Barclay. Now, the Barclay is captained by one Abraham Chappell, who is a enigmatic, fairly charismatic individual. He wears a very distinctive sort of rounded top hat. And he is an old-time whaler, has a lot of experience whaling, and has several other officers with him who he has sailed with on several voyages in the past. Most of the crew have only joined in the last few years, but the steward, Lawson Bond, who is the next crew member I'm gonna talk about, has been with him for over 5, maybe 10 years. The first mate, Obed Reed, has also sailed with him for quite a while, and one of the boat steerers, Henry Joy. The 4 of them have all sailed together in the past. The other members of the crew, and I'm going to go through them all, and I'm going to give you guys a chance to introduce your characters afterwards. The second mate, who's being played by Morgan, is John DeWitt, and we'll come back to John in a moment. The cabin boy, who's being played by Preston, is Joseph Wright. The cook is named Barzillai Jones. And there are 3 people on board who are not sailors. One of them is the carpenter, George Hussey. One of them is a blacksmith, William Worth. And one of them is a cooper, which is a barrel maker, Cyrus Nickerson. So one thing that you've learned on the boat, or you will learn, is that as you guys voyage, the cooper and the blacksmith are responsible for actually creating the barrels that the whale oil is stored in the hold. So they're constantly at work while you guys are taking responsibility for the sailing parts of the operation. You have 3 boat steerers on board, and these are the most experienced sailors, typically. One of them's name is Henry Joy. I mentioned him previously because he's one of the experienced sailors that has sailed with the captain previously. Another one is Isaac Chase, and I think that is Kalen, right? Yeah, and we'll come back. We'll come back to Isaac as well. And the third boat steerer, his name is Seth Hendricks. Finally, there's a group of able seamen, and these are experienced seamen, but not quite as experienced as the boat steerers. Herman Shepard, that's Thom. Matthew Cole, yeah, and Melvin Weeks, Nathaniel West, Owen DeWitt, Richard Peterson, Valentine Thomas, and William Lawrence. Now, William Lawrence is actually a cousin of John DeWitt. And that, as opposed to another sailor whose name is Owen DeWitt, who, as far as you guys know, is no relation to John DeWitt. There's 2 green hands on board, Charles Shorter and Silas Coffin, who's played by Holly. So let's go back and we'll pick out the PCs, and I'll have you guys each introduce your characters a second time and maybe give any details you care to offer that come from the background of your character or anything you want to add. So let's start with second mate John DeWitt.
Ahoy there, I am John DeWitt. I've spent pretty much my entire life at sea. I have I'm the bottom of the top, so to speak. So I have a lot of work that gets passed down to me from the captain to the first mate, and I just run ragged all day and all night, making sure that everything stays in order.
Okay. Thom, you're playing Herman Shepard.
I'm Herman. I be Herman Shepard, and I've worked aboard sailing ships since I was 14 years old. I've got a lot of experience, but I can't seem to get past just being a regular old sailor. They tend to give me the jobs that I like the most, which is cleaning and tarring the decks and scrubbing them every morning and getting everything spick and span, coiling up the ropes and so forth. I answer mostly to the captain and to the first and second mate.
Okay. Troy, you're playing Matthew Cole.
So Matthew's like Herman there is very much a experienced sailor who's been doing this for most of his life, although he's a young fellow by modern standards, is in his 20s. He's very, very focused on the job, very nose to the grindstone. But he occasionally has a bit of a haunted look, like maybe he's thinking about shore life or something back home or something like that. Maybe he gets teased for it if he gets a bit spacey and thinks about that. But when he's not doing that, he's very much focused on his job at hand and doesn't complain. And he's happy to drink his grog or whatever and just get down to it.
Okay. Matthew Cole has a special note in his background, and I'm going to remind you of that at a specific time.
Okay.
So I just wanted to point it out so you can have a chance to read it. Kalen is playing Isaac Chase.
Oh, hey. My name's Isaac Chase. I've spent more of my life on boats and at sea than I ever have on land. I'm one of the workhorses of this boat. I've harpooned whales and done cool stuff, but for the most part, it's just turning 2 in the morning, getting up, working all day, scrubbing, try to keep to myself, stay out of trouble. I've been on this boat for 13 months, but still just getting to know the crew. I'm not one of the familiars yet.
Holly, you're playing Silas Coffin.
Yes, I'm Silas Coffin. Quite a young man, only 19 years old. Unlike the rest of the crew, I didn't grow up on boats, just didn't seem to love land life very much. So signed on as soon as I could to make some money. But it took me quite a while to find my sea legs, which has probably made me a little bit of a, point of ridicule, good-hearted, good-natured ribbing from my crewmates. Mostly just doing a lot of menial labor, tarring, varnishing, scraping, scrubbing, that kind of thing. Just happy to be here.
In fact, as we start the first scene, Silas, you will have spent the last couple days getting your sea legs for the first time. And yeah, you've been sick to your stomach. And this will be the first day that you're starting to feel a little bit better. But before we get there, last but not least, Preston, you're playing Joseph Wright.
I'm Joseph Wright. I'm 16 years old. I'm from Mystic, Connecticut. So I've been around boats my whole life, more time on the water than on land. But this is the longest journey I've ever been on. I'm the cabin boy, which means I do a little bit of everything. I'm the waiter, I'm the mopper, I'm the climber up the rigger. And generally, I'm beginning to feel a little bit homesick out here. It's been a long time and I haven't been away from home so long.
Good. Okay. Thank you, guys. So the boat you're on is called the Barclay. The Barclay is a 3-masted wooden sailing ship. And there are 2 distinct berthings on board. One is in steerage and one is in the forecastle. The steerage tends to be the preferred berthing because it's less bumpy, less noisy. It's not facing the wave. It's not going to get knocked around quite as much. So this tends to be where the boat steerers and the ship's officers, except for the captain, are berthed. The exception to that being Joseph Wright, who is kind of, as cabin boy, everybody's favorite sailor. You know, he's kind of the unofficial morale officer, I guess, if you will, on board. And so he is offered a berthing in the steerage with the rest of the officers. The rest of you guys are in the forecastle. And Silas, let's focus on your point of view. Mm-hmm. When you first arrive on the ship and the berthings are handed out and you're excited to discover who it is that you're berthed next to, you are alarmed to discover the strangest looking person you have ever seen in your life. Like, you have to sort of imagine that you haven't been out to sea before, you haven't seen a lot of the world. And here, now you're berthing next to this guy who has dark skin, has tattoos all over his face, has weird long hair, and smiles at you with his gap-toothed smile as soon as you arrive. And you have no idea how to react, or you should tell me, how do you react?
It's a little, it makes me nervous. Maybe I'm taken kind of aback, like I don't even know how to handle myself well. I probably make a fool of myself in like the first minute, putting my foot firmly in my mouth. And then I think some of the more senior crew members may have filled my head with false stories, like, oh, he's a wanted murderer or something like that, just to make me like more nervous around him. So I just kind of have this nervous energy around my cabin mate where I kind of like get the nervous giggles and I'm like, ah, and probably just annoy him at this point.
It only takes you a few minutes to realize that actually he's not scary at all. He's actually quite nice. He's very sweet. And he tells you that his name is Orangi and he is from Rarotonga, which is in the Cook Islands. And, he's not mean at all. And in fact, he seems to enjoy talking to you and maybe talking at you. I'm not sure how talkative you are in return, but, he very quickly kind of cozies up to you.
Oh, good. I think after a while it would definitely be reciprocated. And yeah, I run my mouth a lot. I'm just a nervous talker. So.
Okay. So, like I said, the first couple days of the voyage, you guys leave Massachusetts. You have a long way to go. You're out headed for the South Pacific. So, and in this era, there is no Panama Canal. So this is a matter of sailing all the way down south of South America and then all the way back up and out to sea. So a huge distance. So you have a long voyage ahead of you. And you are just starting to get your sea legs. And on the third night, you are kept up by this weird, fitful dream. You keep having these strange visions of these dark spires amid a stormy sea. And every time you wake up and go back to sleep, this vision keeps coming back to your mind.
And that's all of us having this dream?
No, only you, Silas.
Oh, okay. I see.
And then something very strange happens. You start hearing these weird, unearthly, alien sounds. And it wakes you up completely. The dream goes away, but these sounds remain. And I want you to try to imagine being new to the seafaring life and hearing this, and
yeah, that'd be terrifying.
as you're half asleep. Yeah, what do you do?
I think I'd kind of roll out of bed and kind of panic and like look left to right, and I think eventually wake up my bunkmate. Like, what is that noise? Do you hear that? What is that?
Yeah, Orangi turns to you, and you can see he's covered with sweat, and he's shivering. He looks terrible, and he says in a weak voice, he says, "It's just whales."
Hey, whales? I didn't know whales could sound so horrifying. Are you okay? You look like you've seen death.
Yeah, he kind of shakes his head. He's like, I don't feel good at all.
Should I go fetch someone?
As you say this, the captain bursts into the room, and he starts shouting, "Out of your bunks! Out, all of ya! A whale's been spotted! Time to earn your keep as real whalers! Get up there! Get in them boats! Up and earn your lay!" And he kicks one of the bunks, like, not hard, but kind of rudely.
I'm scrambling to my feet and I'm getting my gear on.
You all heard the captain. Let's get up.
Guys.
Here we go again.
Move your bloomin' asses.
Yeah.
He happens to notice Silas looking at Orangi in a concerned way, and he's like, "What's the matter?"
I think he's ill, Captain. I don't know.
He takes a closer look, and he's like, "Are you ill then, son?"
Some kind of fever,
And,
I think.
Yeah. He puts his hand on his forehead, and he says, "All right, then stay in your bunk today." He's Isaac Chase.
Aye.
Isaac, you'll be doing the harpooning today.
Aye, Captain.
Now get out there and kill that whale.
Aye, aye.
So the men begin to assemble up on the deck, and there are 6 chase boats aboard, 3 of which are lowered into the water, and 6 people go aboard each chase boat. That means 18 of you are out to sea, and there's only 5 people left on board, which is the captain, Lawson Bond, and the cooper and the blacksmith.
All right, men, all together now. Row.
Yeah. So right. So the boats are lowered into the water. The men begin to get on there, and the captain, as you guys are loading into the boat, is leaning over the rails, and he's like, "Now, don't come back until that whale is dead. You hear me? I don't want to see you back here without a dead whale or a stove boat. Understand?"
Aye, Captain.
Aye, Captain.
Whale or death?
Good then.
That's
Get
the spirit,
going.
Cole.
Okay.
Now, do more than one of us have harpoons? Since there's 6 boats?
So there are a set of harpoons in each boat, and in fact, I'll go over the equipment in a little bit when it becomes relevant. But in the meantime, there are whales all around the ship. And there's a bit of a scene here where you guys are rowing out there to chase after the whales. And the idea is, before these whales dive and you lose them, you have about 3 rounds in which to try to catch them. And during these 3 rounds, I'm going to ask you guys to make some attribute checks. The first round, you guys have to have a total of 6 successes. After that, I'm going to roll a d6 and add that. And each round, you're going to get another chance to beat that total. And if you can beat that, then you catch the whale. And if you fail to do that, then the whale will dive and beat you. I think it's more interesting if we know what we're rolling for when we roll. So I want all of you guys to make a strength check for me and tell me how many successes you get.
Failure.
I fail with 84 against 80. That feels bad.
Joseph succeeds.
I fail as well. Oh, yeah, I fail. Damn it. What the hell? Do we not eat
I
our
also
breakfast? What's going on here?
So yeah, so
Are
this
we
whale,
landlubbers? We suck.
this whale is a lot faster than you were expecting.
I rolled a hard, which I had 21.
Okay. I will give you an extra success for that hard success. So you guys have a 3 against the 6 total necessary. So the whale begins to actually pull ahead of you. And we're going to try another round. And the good news is I just rolled a 1. So your new total is 7 and you're already up by 3. So I need another set of strength checks from you.
Roll
to see if you can gain
harder,
on this one.
man. Row harder. 20 is it hard
Extreme.
success this time?
Yeah.
Extreme
Silas's
from
weak
Joseph.
arms
nice.
are he just doesn't have it.
Another 20. Yes.
Silas, you've
56
lost your
is a
lunch
regular.
today. You might as well not lose a whale.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry. I'm trying.
Push it, son. Push it.
All right. How many do we have total now?
I got
So I
one.
got a hard success.
Extreme.
Regular.
What's?
Extreme for Joseph.
Yeah, I got a hard
Okay.
too.
Okay, you guys gain on the whale enough that you're within range. And Isaac Chase, it's up to you to make the throw roll for the harpoon.
So I push this button, I believe. What does that do?
53.
That's a fail.
Can I spend
The
3 luck
harpoon-
on it?
Yes, you can.
All right. I'd like to do so.
My lad, spend that luck.
Yes. Go to the devil and
Okay.
get the whale.
So, Isaac, you stand up on the bow of the chase boat. You throw the harpoon, and the harpoon sinks into the whale. A moment or two later, the whale breathes out a spout, and you can see blood in the gushing thing. And then you guys are onto what is sort of in a darkly humorous fashion known as a Nantucket sleigh ride. So the whale has been harpooned and tries to get away from you guys and starts pulling the boat, and water begins whipping into your face. The boat is going on a careening ride through the water, and it takes a while, but eventually the whale begins to slow down. You guys pull up close to it again, and everybody pulls out a series of lances and stab this whale to death, which is a brutal, violent, and horrible feeling for all of you who've never done this before.
None of us are
Come on,
really
Silas, you
lovers.
look a little green. Stick it in further.
And
Just-
it is what it is. Yeah.
This is your life now, man. Stick like it matters.
Yeah, there's a little bit of like half-hearted.
What is this?
half-heartedness.
Are you not even putting your arms? I'm actually going to grab your arms and make you jab harder.
I'm sorry,
Damn it,
Mr.
like
Cole. I'm
this.
sorry.
There we go. Do it like a
Come
man
on,
boy.
Silas. We'll make a true whaler of you yet.
I think you can see like wet cheeks. I didn't know it'd be so brutal, sir. I'm
I'm
sorry.
gonna rub some of the blood on your face. Get used to it.
Silas, it's just a fish. It doesn't have any feelings.
Yes. No feelings. It's just a bloody fish. Exactly.
It's just a big bloody fish.
Now comes the hard part. We got to haul it up.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. So the good news is if you kill the right type of whale, they will generally float. Which one? This is a right whale in this case. So the carcass does generally float. The bad news is when you guys look up from your chase, you are all alone out at sea. You do not see the ship and you do not see any of the other chase boats.
Oh,
We tore too far ahead
I'll
of them.
be damned. Where be the Barclay?
Well,
we have
we
a-
should know which direction we were heading, and
Now, the whale has gotten us all turned about sideways.
well, we can see where the rising sun is, so at least we know the general direction that we came from, and surely the ship is going to turn and try to get back to us, or they don't get their. Well, we won't give them their whale, but yeah. So that's the general direction. I think that's the general direction we need to go there.
Well, we're not going to get very far towing this whale carcass. I think
No, well, hopefully it doesn't attract too many sharks.
That always
Agreed.
attracts sharks.
Greedy devils.
How far did that thing drag us? We
Our
should still be able
blubber.
to see the boat.
Yeah, you might think, but it is out of sight.
There's a bit of haze on the horizon that's obscuring it from our vision.
Well, maybe we'll get Silas to climb this here whale, get a better vantage point.
Hello! I'll yell.
You're going to yell.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hello!
Do we have a spyglass with us on the boat, or is that not a common thing?
No, we wouldn't have brought that.
Okay.
I'll tell you, since you ask, let me tell you a little bit about the whaling boat you're in. The chase boats are 30 foot long and 6 feet wide. So they're actually quite seaworthy just on their own. They have a mast, a sail, and a rudder. They have 2 wooden barrels, each of which contains approximately 900 feet of rope. The rope is usually attached to a harpoon. When the whale is stuck with a harpoon, the rope streams out, as you guys witnessed, and sometimes at great speed. So you have to take great care in coiling the rope carefully so that it doesn't kink or grab somebody and pull them under. You could lose lives that way. There's also a small bucket, which is called a piggin. And this bucket is filled with water and is meant for bailing water over the rope. Because sometimes the rope will play out so fast that it will actually begin smoking. And so the piggin is used to cool down the friction on the rope. There are 2 harpoons that are ready for use, and there are 3 spares stashed away. And all of them are made of sharp steel. There are 3 lances for jabbing into the whale when you're in close quarters. There are several hatchets, and these are used for cutting the rope in case of an emergency. Let's say the whale dives and threatens to take the boat down with it. You can cut the rope, or if somebody were to get pulled in or something like that, you could cut the rope quickly with a hatchet. There's a wooden barrel filled with fresh drinking water. There is a barrel that contains a lantern, tinderbox, candles, some bread, some tobacco, and some pipes. There is a compass. There is a long poled flag that you guys call a waif, and this can be used to mark a floating whale carcass. There is a float, like a dragging float, that can be attached to a rope to make it harder for a whale to submerge or swim away. And there's something called a fluke spade, which is used to cut a hole in the tail, and you run a rope through it and you haul it back to the ship. And other miscellaneous equipment, there's an anchor and a buoy. So that's what you guys have.
Can we assume
Waif
that the water?
out of the back. We've got to mark this here whale.
We can assume that the water and the food are because this probably happens. You get dragged away from the ship, and then eventually they find you.
Yeah, in fact, Isaac Chase, you are experienced enough that you probably know that it's not good to be out of sight of the ship. But it's not the first time this has ever happened to anybody. It happens, and the best thing to do is not panic.
Right.
Right. If we get Silas, Joseph, go get that waif. Let's
Aye,
mark
sir.
this here whale.
Yes, sir.
Aye, aye.
And I would like all of you to make perception checks, please. Sorry, spot hidden checks, please.
14 is a hard success.
Just tell me who gets the highest roll,
Wait, highest is in greatest number?
as in the greatest level of success.
Oh, okay.
So I got a hard success with a 14.
I failed.
I failed.
Oh,
Okay.
I failed completely too.
You best be
So-
not watching the sea. You got to mind that waif.
Aye, sir.
I think my mind was on the tobacco for some reason.
My
John,
mind's always on the tobacco.
I'm thinking I could use a smoke. Yep.
John DeWitt.
Here, ye Cole, take a puff of this.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. Oh, that hits the spot.
John DeWitt, as you're looking for the ship out to sea, something begins to creep into notice that, you weren't sure you saw it at first, but over time, you start to notice that there's one particular wave about 100, 200 yards out from the boat. And this wave, unlike any of the other waves, just doesn't seem to move. It just holds in one position about 100 or 200 yards out from the boat and just sits there in a very unnatural way. And
God almighty.
when you look at it more closely, it almost doesn't even look like a wave as much as like almost like a mound in the water, but it doesn't move.
You look vexed, sir. Have you seen the devil?
Look at this might be a thing of devilry, but look there, Cole. What do you see?
Oh. What the blazes? Is there something under the water there?
That
Could it
wave
be a-
is not moving.
Could
You
it
guys
be a
start to get this
sandbar?
creepy feeling like maybe you're being watched.
Hmm. Well, a whale can't do that, can it?
Oh, whales don't hold all stationary like that.
No.
But is there water flowing over it like it's in a current? Maybe a rock under the water and
It seems like ripples and small waves just seem to flow right over it as if it were flat.
can we
Well, we could
can we discern the size of it? Is it a rock or is it a small island in size?
It looks approximately in diameter the length of your boat.
now we're still tied to this whale with the harpoon, and Silas and Joseph have affixed the waif to it, so we should be easy to spot. How about get to the oars, man? Let's row out and see if it's another whale for us, or whatever it be.
As you say.
Did we attach the float to the whale so that it can't sink?
The whale is floating on its own.
Okay.
We can attach the float. That's
Yeah.
good. That's good. Attach the float, Mr.
Aye, sir.
Shepherd. That's good. Good thinking. Let's row out to this here. Whatever it is.
So you guys begin to
helping
row.
Sorry.
You guys begin to row, and as you row, the wave somehow seems to stay approximately the same distance away from the boat.
That's freaky.
Or you almost think it's some kind of trick.
Yeah.
I mean, the sea is full of strange doings. I mean, I've always thought that the devil had some kind of sway over the waters of this earth.
Usually
It's
those
no
tricks,
thing of God.
it's usually on the horizon the eyes start to fool you, though. That's kind of close for that, isn't it?
Hey, and
John,
for it to be
sir,
fooling all of us.
I think we should maybe be rowing the other way. I'm getting a bad feeling from
Yes,
this.
let's return to the whale.
Matthew Cole,
Yeah.
as you're looking at the lump, something begins in the back of your mind that sounds like a whisper.
Huh? Did it make any sense at all to me, or is it just...
No, it just sounded diabolic almost. You're not sure exactly what. But as you're thinking about it, a deep vibrating sound that seems to resonate all around all of you, and this time it's all of you, notice this. It makes the water vibrate and kind of jump and form patterns on the surface. It's this long, weird moan, or like something massive shifting underneath the water.
Good God.
What is that? What is that?
Keep your heads, Silas and Joseph. Keep your heads.
The way the
Steady
water's
now.
jumping, is it a shoal of fish?
We'll
Something under
see
the
what
water?
it might be here in a moment, but everybody stay calm.
And a moment later, the bulge in the water sinks back down and the water goes flat again.
Can we see
Hey,
anything
whatever
in the
it is.
water? I mean, in the water itself, looking down, can you see any depth into the water?
You can see probably about a fathom. In fact, this is an interesting point there. A fathom is about 9 meters, which is approximately the depth that a person could swim to. And beyond that, it was assumed that anything deeper than that was kind of lost to man because it's just impossible, right? So a fathom is about, I mean, as far as you could see in the open ocean, I would guess about 20 feet, 30 feet, approximately, maybe.
Whatever it be, it's unfathomable.
Yeah.
Oh,
And it's at this point that you spot the Barclay on the horizon.
Oh, thanks be to God.
Oh,
Yes, thanks be indeed. Thanks be indeed.
Thank you,
Mr.
Saint
Cole, you
Nicholas.
look tense. Here, take another puff of this.
oh, thank you, sir. That's probably what I've been needing. I need the devil's weed. Oh, that hits the spot. Thank you, sir.
Let's start towing in this whale.
All
Let's
right.
start a rowing. Yeah.
Hmm. So that was your first kill, was it, Silas?
aye, sir.
It gets easier. It gets much easier.
I didn't know anything could be so brutal as that.
It's just a fish, lad.
Yeah,
Just a fish.
That one hardly even fought back.
they were
Aye,
put on
you're
this
right.
earth to serve us, Silas. The fish are in the ocean for us to use as God intended.
Look at that
remember
sweet
that.
beauty and think of the money that it brings.
Ah, yes, and the money, which God also intended us to get. Yes.
So when the ship finally pulls up beside you guys, the captain is there to see that you guys have made the kill. And he's sort of like, well, we just might have some real whalers yet. Well done, lads.
You should all be mighty proud of yourselves. It was good work today.
Let's get. I'll start yelling at the crew. Let's get this going. Let's get this thing hauled aboard and start to
Start cutting her up. Yep.
Get back aboard, yeah. Stoke up them try-works. Start cutting out them Bible leaves, boys.
Alrighty.
Let's make us some money.
Aye, aye, Captain.
So, you guys climb back aboard the ship, and we are going to scene cut. So that was your third day and your first whale hunt. And we are going to jump ahead 13 months into your voyage.
Oof.
You guys are now experienced whalers. You've gone on many whale hunts. In fact, you had a whale hunt today and another successful one at that. So you guys are feeling pretty good about that. And let's see. One thing to note is that over the course of 13 months, the boat and even more so the men on it are completely filthy. Right? You're out to sea. You're covered with sweat. There's blood dripping off the whales and the pieces of the whales. There's guts. There's oil smoke. There's sea salt. There's grime all over everything. So the level of smell and filth that you guys have to deal with would be inconceivable to most landlubbers, right? That being said, you kind of gotten used to it, and over 13 months, it's just sort of become routine. But in the last couple of weeks, the atmosphere on board the ship has started to change a little bit. The hold has become about 2/3 full. And so there's a sense of anticipation among the men, kind of a rising tension that, you know, sooner or later, we're going to be able to finish up this job and actually go home, right? And a couple other things have begun happening. In the last couple of weeks, the captain, the steward Lawson Bond, the first mate Obed Reed, and Henry Joy, the boat steerer, who have always been, old friends from previous voyages, have started spending increasing amounts of time together in the evenings in the captain's cabin. And John DeWitt, this is particularly upsetting to you, being the second mate, aspiring to first mate status and seeing the first mate and the other officers being invited into the captain's cabin and you kind of being excluded. This is kind of stuck in your craw a little bit. And Joseph Wright, in the last couple of weeks, you've noted the details that are described in the description of your character, in the background description of your character. And I'll let you review those yourself. And Matthew Cole, this morning before the whale hunt, the scene described in your background also occurred.
Okay.
So this is the day of that. And I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a chance to tell me how you want to spend your time, your off hours in the crew berthing, in doing whatever. Are there conversations you'd like to have? Are there activities that you'd like to pursue? Anything like that?
Well, I'm going to talk to Herman a bit about a feeling that maybe I'm starting to get, I've been at sea too long feeling, just kind of like I'm getting antsy to get home maybe.
You just got to
You're
keep
starting to
used
feel
to
like
it.
that too? I mean, it's weird, but it's...
I have no ties to anyone on the land, so
I see. I thought I could be out here for years, but I'm starting to feel like a little bit homesick maybe. Maybe I should take up some hobby or something. What do you...
Whitland, Scrimshaw.
Scrimshaw? Oh, Whitland, that's like not a bad hobby. Yeah, okay. I could find a piece of wood and maybe start carving something. That might get me relaxed.
Whalebone is what you're after.
Whalebone? Okay.
Got
we can
plenty of
start with some
whalebone.
Maybe I'll carve me a flute or something. That might be a good start.
You're going to take up Scrimshaw?
Going to take up Scrimshaw as a way to relax, yeah.
I'll be showing him how to do it, at least giving him my techniques, because I do Scrimshaw.
Okay. So you cut away at an angle like this, or?
Well, you got to polish the bone, and then you've got
Polish
to
the bone.
use a stylus to scratch the design into it.
Okay. All right.
You use cross hatching and
All right.
pick your subject. I tend to imagine some sort of giant octopus monster underneath that hump that we saw in the ocean. And,
Oh, that I will not be making. No.
like in
I
the
wanna
old
sleep at
pictures, you
night.
know, with the octopus reaching up and pulling the ship
I was
down.
thinking I would just carve a woman or something more pleasant to the mind than that. An octopus monster, you say? What have you been having any strange ideas, Herman?
I saw it on an old map one time.
Okay.
Don't be joking about what there be in the sea, lads. The sea is a dark and brooding thing. It keeps many things from the eyes of man and the light of God. So I
Well,
want to
yes.
be making no jokes about things in the sea.
How about Herman Shepherd? How are you spending your time?
Well, I probably take the time because I work pretty hard. The deck's got to constantly be cleaned. It's got to be tarred. It's got to be roped and patched and everything else. And that's pretty much a constant job to keep the ship from not sinking.
Yeah.
So in my spare time, I'll pick a spot where I can sit, maybe eat an apple and do some scrimshaw.
Okay.
I've been working on a piece that shows us whaling and going out in the ocean and, you know, throwing the harpoon with Isaac throwing the harpoon and
Yeah.
little Joseph standing next to him.
You've managed to get DeWitt's pipe quite well done there. That looks good. You've even got smoke coming out of it. How'd you do that?
Yeah.
Herman, as you're on deck, this is after the whale hunt and you guys are back. And as you're up on deck doing a scrimshaw like you like to do, and you happen to gaze down at the water, you begin to see a dark shape just under the surface. And at first you think it's like a dolphin or a porpoise or maybe a shark, because they often do show up. But as it sort of darts back and forth and comes closer and further away to the surface, at one point you think you see a pair of arms, like human arms almost.
I'll suddenly reach out and grab Matthew. I'm like, dear God, do you see that?
Whoa, lad, what's going on? What do you point? Where? What?
I think I saw a mermaid. Look there.
Oh, good heavens, man. I thought I was having trouble with the women thing. Where? Oh, look.
Matthew,
It
you
had
don't see
arms.
anything.
Oh, I'm
must be
sorry.
messing
I'm
with you.
sorry, Herman. I put the idea of ladies into your head, and now look what it's done to you. I'm so sorry. That's my fault.
Maybe that's it, but I swear to
Ah.
God, I saw what could have been a
No,
porpoise
no,
or a. it
But
was
you
a-
see, we have been at sea too long. You see, that's
I've
it. This
been-
is how you know. You're seeing the
You're
women
saying
under
my
the
mind's
water.
been playing tricks on me.
Yes, because you want to get back to the other ladies, not the lady lotion. We're almost done. We're going to get enough oil, and we're going to get home soon. That's what I got to tell myself.
As Matthew walks away, you gaze back down at the water, and this time the shadowy figure comes very close to the surface, close enough that you can actually make out some details. And it looks very much like a person, and a familiar person. It looks like your mom.
Is my mother alive or dead at this point in my life?
That's up to you. You tell me.
I'll say it's creepier if I think she's still alive. I haven't seen her in a long time. But I'll be like,
Herman. Herman. Come to me, Herman. Everything will be all right, Herman. Come to me now.
what are you doing down there?
Herman. Come to me.
She holds out a hand, almost touching the surface of the water.
Can I roll for willpower?
No, but you can roll for sanity for me.
51. What is my sanity? My sanity's only 40, so that's a failure.
Okay.
How many points?
So, 3 points of sanity.
Okay. I am going to scream loudly and back
Okay.
away from the edge.
Okay. Oh,
The rest of you guys,
yeah.
you hear this immediately.
Okay, I'll
Wait,
rush
what
over.
what is this about?
Oh, you're right, man. What's going on?
I
What? I'll look where he's
swear to
going.
God, my mother was in the water there, calling
What?
to me.
No. Joseph, will you go fetch this man some grog?
Look for yourself.
on,
Look
man.
for
Yeah,
yourself.
I'm looking.
Have you
deeply
been
at the
drinking?
water.
Have you been drinking water, Abby?
No, she's right under the surface, reaching her hand up, calling to me.
The water. Looks,
I'll look
is there
over the
anything there?
edge.
Yeah, I'll look as well. Yeah.
Yeah, none of the rest of you guys see anything unusual. You're sort of like looking back at Herman and then looking at the water, looking back at Herman.
I'm
Yeah,
probably white.
Joseph, get this man some water.
I've run and returned, and I have the water and the grog. Here you go, sir. Which one? But yeah, take those.
Herman, did you see her face in the water? What did you see?
I did.
As
I
clear,
saw her
as clear as you
clear.
knew her?
Take deep breaths with me, laddie. Deep breaths, laddie.
And I
Deep
wasn't
breaths.
asleep.
Did you hear her voice, Herman? Did it
I
sound
heard
clear
her.
to you?
I heard her. She called out. She called
It's
my
clear-
name, and
Clear as day, was it? Okay.
I told you, Matthew, I saw something.
No, I believe you, Herman. I believe you. I believe
Mr.
you.
Cole.
A siren call, a mermaid pretending to be my
Ow,
mother.
whatever it is, Herman, it's a thing of the devil.
Well, it's
And like all
surrounded.
things of the
It's-
devil, it should be shunned.
It's out there in the water, and there's no place to go on the ship to get away from it.
No, you just take deep breaths now, lad. Drink some water. Get out of the sun.
Blast the water. Bring me some rum.
We brought you grog. We brought
Yeah,
you
yeah.
grog. There's water
Yeah,
and grog.
Well, I'll lead Herman somewhere shady and make sure he sips his grog.
Okay. Yeah, you
Keep a
take
sharp eye on this one, Mr. Cole.
I will at that. Don't worry, sir. And then when it's a bit quieter, I'm going to put my head close to Herman. I'm going to go, Herman, my man, I know what you're talking about. And you weren't seeing things.
You mean? What do you
There's-
mean?
I mean, I saw something myself. I put it down to just lust and delusion, but if you, of all people, saw something, then I think there's something to see. Just be calm. We'll figure it out. But we've been at sea too long, Herman.
Where are we now? Are we in cursed waters, or?
I don't know. Something's happening here.
Are you guys taking care to keep this conversation
Yes,
just between
I'm
the
making
two
it
of you?
very quiet between us. That's why I'm tending to him like I'm like
Right.
trying to help him, but I'm
Yeah.
also talking very quiet.
There's not much privacy on the ship, though.
Yeah,
if
but,
somebody's
you know.
looking in our direction, they can see I'm upset about something.
Yeah, but I'm also
so-
trying to calm you down, and I'm
Yeah.
making sure you're drinking. So
So one of your shipmates, Valentine Thomas, does come over and says, "Are you all right, Herman?"
Yeah, I'm fine. Just a bit of fainted weakness for a moment. They brought me water and grog. I'm pulling myself together.
he'll come around. Don't worry. He's a man's man. He can do it.
Are you Christian?
Of course, I'm Christian. I pray to Saint Nicholas every day.
I'll get my crucifix and we'll pray together, hey?
That
That'll
would be
help you.
much appreciated.
So Valentine goes back to his lockbox, or his seaman's chest, and he opens it up and he starts going through it. And then pretty quickly, he gets kind of red-faced and starts throwing things in. Someone's gone through my box. Someone's taken my crucifix.
What is this now?
Someone's been through my box. Someone's taken my crucifix away. It was a gift from my mother.
Well,
Which one of you's done this thing? All of a sudden, more and more men start perking up and sort of like, what's going on?
Everybody stay calm. Stay calm.
A few other men start opening up their boxes. A couple of them are like, "Someone's gone through my box as well." And Melvin Weeks says, "My prayer book is gone."
I'm gonna go check my box.
Yeah, I'm gonna check my box.
Is my Bible gone?
Yeah, your Bible is gone. As a matter of fact, someone has clearly gone.
Hey,
through
my Bible too is gone.
Yeah, I had one as well. What the?
Also gone.
Well,
and your clothes are not as folded the way they were. So someone's clearly gone through your box. It must have been while you guys were away on the whaling.
Yeah, I'll point that out. Who was on the ship when we were out in the boats? Who could that have been?
Well, be careful of who you accuse.
Okay, but who could it have been? We were on when we were away.
There were only 5 of them on the ship when we were out. The captain, the first and second mate, or the first mate, and the other
Cooper, the blacksmith.
Cooper and the blacksmith.
Be mighty careful there, Herman, about throwing accusations around the captain.
Well, that's what I said. But somebody's taken away all semblances of our Christianity.
Yeah, I had a Bible of comfort, and it's gone.
I'll bring this up to the captain next time him and I talk. We'll get to the bottom of this, boys.
It's probably the blacksmith and the Cooper. They're not used to the sea.
In fact, very little goes on a ship this size without everybody kind of knowing pretty quickly. And so very quickly, the captain, Lawson Bond, and Obed Reed, the first mate, all sort of come into the forecastle, and they're sort of like, "What's going on in here?"
It seems like there's been a mighty bit of theft done about religious items from everybody here's boxes.
What kind of theft?
Bibles are missing. Crucifixes are missing.
Our personal effects are missing.
Now, Lawson Bond, the steward, who is a sort of to our modern eyes, he might seem almost Amish or Mennonite, you know? Lawson Bond immediately speaks up, and he's sort of like, "It was the Dark One, the Polynesian. He's not Christian. It was him." And if you guys care to make a psychology check.
Nope.
I got a 15 for 10. I might be spending a bit of luck here.
I would defend Mr. Arangi, though. Oh, no. Mr. Arangi is a stand-up gentleman. He wouldn't do such a thing.
I spent 5 points of luck to pass. I spent 5 points of luck to pass. 15 down to a 10. I can say words. Numbers are fine.
You and also Joseph, who also passed, are convinced that Lawson Bond is lying and covering for something.
No. You, laddie, don't go telling tall tales now. As Silas says, he's a mighty fine lad. You're too quick to point the finger. What's actually driving you, lad? Where be our books?
The captain says, "That's enough. First, second mate DeWitt. I want an investigation. Come to my cabin at sundown. I want the name of the man I'm going to flog for this."
And I'm going to stare down the steward.
The steward stares back at you. Seems like he's going to say something a couple times, but eventually just turns on his heel and walks out. Also, Joseph Wright, because of your extreme success, in addition to noticing that Lawson Bond was not telling the whole truth, you notice that there's some unspoken communication that happens between the captain and Lawson Bond. Clearly, they are not happy with each other. When Lawson Bond accuses Orangi of doing the unchristian thing, the captain stares at Lawson Bond with daggers in his eyes, and Lawson Bond stares back defiantly. And you're not sure exactly what is going on between them, but clearly they're not happy with each other.
Fascinating. I'll file this away for for later unpacking. I have some other observations that I've made in the captain's cabin that I'm excited to talk about. But for now, yeah, I'm just observing, trying to stay out of trouble mainly.
John DeWitt, it couldn't have been Orangi.
No, of course not.
He was with us on the sailing ship.
No, that damnable steward knows something, by God, and he's not saying it.
Yeah.
Mr. Wright, you seem eager. Do you agree?
I agree that it wasn't Orangi. It's only ever been lovely. How many of us are there? Is the whole crew still in the forecastle together?
No, no.
Yeah, after the discussion is made, and after the captain assigns John DeWitt to do an investigation, a lot of the scene is over, and a lot of people,
get
disperse.
your asses back to work.
Yeah. The captain does say, Mr. DeWitt, you have my full authority for your investigation. Try not to abuse it.
Aye, Captain.
There is definitely some deviltry going on here.
Out with it, lad. You seem to have something on your tongue.
I don't know who to trust. It's been terrible, but as cabin boy, one of my responsibilities is to be the waiter for these private dinners in the captain's cabin. And after dinner, they shut me out and close the doors, but they're up to something in there. They're screaming and chanting and singing and making all these horrible noises and incantations. It's a nightmare. Nothing like human voices I've ever heard. It's just these terrible noises, and I don't know what's going on, but they seem to be agitated about something or excited. I've heard them talking about an island that they were looking for on the previous journey together. They have a long history, those few, but I'm not sure what their relationship is, and I don't know what they're looking for, but clearly they're up to something.
It's mighty strange. Do you think that one of these fine gentlemen would have a reasoning? You said something about incantations, which I can only take to be deviltry. Do you think any of them would want to be depriving our men of their Christian symbols for some kind of...
Well, I never went in too much for that church stuff, but certainly nothing they're doing has anything like a Christian stamp on it. So if they believe in some sort of heathenry that they picked up in the South Pacific last time they were out here, I could see my way to understanding that they would steal any sort of any Christian symbolism they found around. Maybe they think it's not helpful for whatever their mission is. I don't know, but there's something spooky going on behind those doors.
Well, laddie, I would be fond to say that there ain't no better church than the sea. Nothing will humble a man before God than this mighty ocean. But you were right. There is something not right going on.
What do we know about Lawson outside of this?
From John DeWitt, when you interviewed with the captain, and Lawson Bond and Obed Reed were there, so the steward and the first mate. When you interviewed with them, Lawson Bond asked you one question: are you a God-fearing Christian? That's what you know about Lawson Bond. He holds his Christianity above everything else. He's the ship's steward, so he logs everything. He's a very by-the-book guy. And kind of a hard man. He has cold blue eyes, and I described him previously, but yeah.
And Obed, what do we know about him? Anything?
Obed Reed, an experienced first mate and contemporary of the captain and Lawson Bond. You don't know much more than that. He's not a particularly nice person.
Well, Mr. DeWitt, if the boy speaks clearly and understands what he's heard, we're in an awkward position here, aren't we?
Think that I got a read on that Lawson Bond, and I think that he knows something. He knows where all them Christian keepings be. We just got to get him to tell us. He's covering for somebody if it's not himself. Where might we find the fine steward?
The steward Lassenbahn is in the steerage with the rest of the officers.
I want to go find him.
Okay. Yeah,
He
he's
has
easy to
questions
find.
that needs
Yeah.
to be answering. As there's such
What
a
does
thing
he
as a
want?
group intimidation role.
What do you want,
Now-
Mr. DeWitt?
Now, you made a great show of accusing an innocent man of this thing, but you know who's done it. So why
Well,
don't
he's
you
not a
confess?
Christian after all.
No, but ye know who actually did it. I can see it in your eyes, lad. Now you asked me if I was a God-fearing Christian. Are you? Do you know what circle of hell liars are condemned to?
I know the Bible quite well, Mr. DeWitt. What are you trying to say?
You be fair and bearing false witness against a fellow member of our crew.
You'll have to prove that, Mr. DeWitt.
Search the cabins, Mr. DeWitt.
Silas, Joseph, go check on our dear friend. See how he's doing. Maybe see if if we can prove that he doesn't got anything on him of any Christian, we can clear his name right up.
Aye, sir. I'll go speak with Mr. Arangi. And honestly, I think I feel a lot of loyalty to him. So I might even try to pull him aside and warn him in the like someone's out for him. Maybe check your things, make sure nothing's been placed there. And if you did do something, get rid of it.
He says, "Oh, thank you. Don't worry about me. Here, you take this." And he hands you a scrimshaw, or he offers you a scrimshaw carving. He says,
It's a sort of octopus fellow you've given me, Mr. Arangi.
"Old Father Tutu is for
Tutu.
luck. Yeah, maybe good luck, maybe bad luck. Either way, you find out soon."
Well, thank you, Mr. Arangi. You should know that there have been accusations against you, and maybe you should check your things in case someone's placed items there to blame you. Hurry, you should go check. Mr. DeWitt's checking all of the belongings. You should go.
Okay, yeah, his eyes go wide, he nods, and he runs back to the forecastle.
And I'll kind of look at this little idol and then place it in my pocket, you know.
Okay.
Maybe feel good
Yeah.
about it. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, DeWitt, are you going to be going through lockers?
Yeah, I'm trying to find where all this stuff is. If it's still even on the ship, but then just throw it overboard. I'm trying my damnedest to find where they went.
Yeah. So you end up going through several lockers. I don't know how many you want to go through, but Rangi's locker is actually, for the most part, empty. He has one more scrimshaw carving that's about halfway done. It's very similar to the one he gave to Silas, but there are no Christian paraphernalia in his locker.
Yeah, I'm gonna just go haul that locker to the steward. Here be the locker of the man ye accuse of stealing all those Christian things. Now you look. Tell me, how many Bibles do ye see in this box? How many crucifix do you see in this here box?
He looks into the box and he looks at you and he says, "Well, Mr. DeWitt, it's his word against mine, and I'm the white Christian."
Aye, but ye are the one with no proof as to that he's done this thing. And I have the authority of the captain in this here investigation.
What more proof do you need? Just look at the man. He doesn't belong with us.
I need more proof than just your, I don't know, your bigotedness.
Well, Mr. DeWitt, the onus is on you, isn't it?
No, the onus is on you, the accuser. That be how trials work.
I'll not hear any more of this, Mr. DeWitt.
Aye, but ye will hear more of it. For again, I have the authority of the captain in this matter, and here the voice of the captain might as well be the goddamn voice of God. Now ye tell me what ye know. If it not be you, then point the finger justly this time.
You'll get nothing from me, Mr. DeWitt.
Damn ye!
Would you like to?
I would like to make an intimidate roll or something.
Yeah. I think that would be fair.
Could Herman and I flex behind him, kind of glare to add a bonus?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, because we're big guys. We're like,
You want to corner him in the hallway and just kind of like start threatening him?
Well, that's a 30. So if I spend 15 points of luck, that'd be a pass. Hark, Triton! Hark, bellow, bid this father the Sea King rise, both foul in his fury.
Would you like to do that?
I'll spend the 15 points of luck.
Very well. So you guys, in an opportune moment, managed to corner Lawson Bond. And as you sort of like, as the tone of the conversation gets increasingly aggressive, and you have Matthew Cole and Isaac Chase backing you up, his eyes go wide. He backs into a corner, and finally, he just starts to break down. He says, all right, I'll tell you what you want, Mr. DeWitt. Just don't hurt me.
Hey, spill it, lad.
What do you want me to spill? So what? I threw them overboard. So it was me. So what?
Do you want me to hurt him, John?
He'll get his proper due for doing this thing. He'll get his lashes.
why did you do it? What overtook you, man? Why would you take a man's possessions that helps him keep his soul close to him? And in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of Devil's Land, tossing into the ocean?
Those were not holy Bibles. Those were works of the devil.
What are you talking about? It's the word of God in those books, and you know
They'll
it.
bring a curse upon all of us. The
He's a
ship will be
loony.
lost at sea.
Mr. DeWitt, this man has lost his mind.
Aye,
Don't know
that
what
be
you're
clear.
talking about, Matthew
Go
Cole.
fetch the captain, lad. Talking to Joseph.
Aye, and I scamper off. But
Okay.
while they have the steward cornered, I'm curious whether I can't scamper in such a manner that I stumble across his log. Now, I probably can't read too well as a 16-year-old in 1847, but I'm sure somebody can read, and I'm sure I could find a log while they have him cornered and distracted.
So the steward keeps a log, like an inventory log. But as far as the ship's log goes, that would be the captain's.
Okay, I see. Then I'll head directly to the captain's cabin and Captain, they're calling for you. They found the thief.
What is it now, Joseph Wright?
It was the steward. It was Steward Bond. Mate DeWitt got it out of him.
Bond again. All right, take me to him.
Aye. And I'm scampering off the other way.
Okay, yeah. You guys have Lawson Bond cornered in downstairs, and the captain comes up behind you and says, "What's the meaning of this? What's going on here, boys?"
We heard the truth right from his own mouth. He be the one who took all them books and trinkets and thrown them over to Davy Jones.
He confessed to it, Captain. He confessed.
There's another moment of communication, unspoken communication between the captain and Lawson Bond, where they sort of stare at each other. Captain looks angry. Lawson Bond looks defiant. And the captain says, "Mr. Bond, come with me to my cabin. We'll speak about this." and the two of them go off into the captain's cabin.
Yeah, I look at Mr. Wright, the cabin boy, and I go,
Hey, and the rest of you disperse. Get back to your duties.
Back to your work.
okay.
I don't like it.
Break's over.
Seems like the captain isn't going to punish him.
I fear that may be the case, Mr. Chase.
Well, he may put him off at the next port we land in.
It's not right.
Put him off in the ocean.
Ruin his career.
It's what he deserves.
So, yeah, Preston, Joseph Wright, you said you were going to take an opportune moment and do what again?
Oh, well, I sort of misapprehended the nature of the steward's log. So at this point, I'm going to take the opportune moment to situate myself near the captain's cabin, but find some useful task. Maybe I'm mending a hammock or something. But I want to try and listen in on this conversation they're about to have. Mop the wall, mop the floor. Just casually waving a mop around in the air.
Mop the deck. Mop
The ceiling.
It's all deck.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, fair enough.
The officers' quarters have to be clean.
So, yeah, you can definitely hear voices, and the voices, they don't sound happy. Mostly it's the captain. Can you make a listen check for me?
Absolutely, I can. I do not have great hearing. Let's see how this goes. 30 over 20, fail. And I don't think I'm going to spend any luck. But maybe...
Okay.
I kind of want to... I feel like I'm going to press my ear up against the door because I'm really intrigued and I want to know. And maybe I'm going to sneak over a little closer to the keyhole or the edge and try to hear. And I'd like to push the roll, if that's all right, Keeper. Maybe
Yes.
that's a terrible idea, but I feel like there could be some useful information here.
Yeah, I can think of a consequence for failing this, so go ahead and do that.
Failure again!
Yeah. Okay. So
Ear against door.
as you're listening at the door, it suddenly opens and Lawson Bond, storming out, is like, his eyes go wide when he sees you there, and he's like, "So, boy, listening for conversations that aren't your own."
As the door is opened, I've sprawled back on the ground. No, sir, I was just mopping the floor. I promise I didn't hear anything.
He looks angry, but he doesn't say anything else, and he storms away.
Close call there.
You hear the captain. He's like, "Joseph Wright, come inside."
Aye, sir. I collect myself.
When you walk inside, the captain is sitting at a desk, and he quickly closes a leather-bound tome. Almost too fast. And he says, "Joseph Wright, go up to the top deck. See if you can get out a fishing net. Catch me a fish. Don't tell anybody else. Bring it to me."
Any fish in particular, Captain, or just the first that I...
The first that you catch, Joseph. Just bring it to me, and don't show nobody else.
Aye.
Good
I'll
boy.
do that, sir. Would you like the door open or closed, sir, when I leave?
Close it, please.
Aye. I gently close it. And I'm not gonna keep this secret. I don't know if whom I run into in the room as I'm leaving. Maybe Isaac Chase or Silas, but it's sort of odd. Just alerting them. I'm catching a fish for the captain. If I die, or if anything strange happens, I don't know.
What for his dinner?
If you die, you want me to do it for you?
Yeah, it seemed very important to the captain that he have a fish. I don't know if it's for his... But we have the salted fish for his dinner, and the cook was... So I don't know what's going on, but...
Hey, lad, something strange is... Isaac, right.
If the captain wants a fish, get him a fish. If he wants a frickin' daisy, go pick him a daisy.
And if he wants a cat, give him that cat there.
Yes. And I'll run up to the. I assume I would know what part of the boat I would go to do this task and how to do it and attempt to accomplish it.
Yeah, this is all well known to you at this point. So, yeah, you drop a net in. It's not hard. The fish tend to, hover around the hull of the boat. So you pull up a fish. Nothing unusual about the fish.
Okay. I run back down to the captain.
He opens the door. He takes a look at the fish and nods. Says, "Very well. Thank you, Mr. Wright. That'll be all."
Oh, all right. I guess I can't do the fish. There'll be nothing else then. Dinner at the normal time. And I'm trying to sort of peer around him. I'm curious about this tome now. Again, I think we've established I am pretty much illiterate, but...
So there are not a lot of books in the captain's cabin. You didn't catch a very good look at it, but you're pretty sure that you could recognize it when compared to other books if you were to have a moment alone.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys notice that Lawson Bond, after meeting with the captain, is very quiet. He's red-faced. He doesn't say a word for the rest of the day. And no further word is made of the event. And Matthew Cole, let's go back to your perspective.
Yep.
As you are going to sleep and recall the description on the backside, the description of the event that occurred to you earlier in the day.
Mm-hmm.
That was this day in the morning, and it's now nighttime. As you are going to sleep, you are thinking about that event.
Yeah, of course.
And as I recall, you saw the face of a childhood friend, Emma.
Oh, yeah. I
And,
was sweet on her when I was younger. So.
Right. And as you're going to sleep, you begin hearing the whispers again.
Do I wake up or do I start to see things? Or?
When you finally do fall asleep, you have a dream that somewhere at the bottom of the sea is a dark temple in the blackness at the very, very bottom of the sea. And in your dream, you see this ancient temple at the bottom of the sea. At the entrance, there's a massive, massive stone door. And as you focus your attention on this door, you sense this overwhelming dread of what is on the other side of that door. And this is enough to send you into a like a startled thing. And this is when you wake up. But when you wake up, you're startled to realize that you're standing on the deck of the ship, staring out at the ocean towards the first light of dawn. There's a bright orange, yellowish pink sun peeking just above the horizon. And the front of your shirt is drenched with cold water all the way down. And I'd like to switch now to Isaac Chase. Isaac Chase, you also have a bunch of fitful dreams. But in your case, you dream about a temple rising above the waves with waves crashing all around the base of it. Herman Shepherd.
Aye.
You also have a strange dream. In your case, though, you see the face that you saw earlier, your mother's face. It's almost as if she's like a ghostly apparition of your mother hovering above you. And it seems strangely comforting, and you can hear a soft voice in the background.
Mother, where are you? I haven't seen you in so long. I can hear you singing, Mother.
Mm-hmm.
Come to me, Herman. Come to me.
Where are you, Mother?
She leans in as if she's going to kiss you goodnight. And all of a sudden, you feel cold salt water pouring into your mouth and face, and cold hands reach around your throat and begin strangling you while water is pouring into your face. What are you going to do?
I'm struggling. Am I in the water or am I in the bed?
You are in your hammock, and all of a sudden, you just feel these hands around your neck and cold water pouring down your face like you're being waterboarded.
I start pushing away with my hands at whatever's in front of me.
I need you to make a strength check, an extreme strength check.
Okay.
The hands feel cold and scaly.
Okay, so I got a 45 out of 50. I would have to spend, you said extreme?
Yes.
5.
35.
Spent 35.
That'd be a lot of luck points, lad.
That's a lot of luck. But I'm also panicked. If I think that I am going to die, I will spend the luck. If I'm just struggling and I turn my head to the side so I can breathe, then maybe I'll just keep struggling, at least for another round.
I'm going to kick that choice back to you.
Okay. Is it squeezing down on my windpipe so I can't breathe?
It is squeezing down in your windpipe, and it seems preternaturally strong.
Yeah. I will then spend the luck.
Okay. You do manage to push her off. And it's at this point, John DeWitt, you awake and you see a figure leaning over Herman Shepherd's what do you call it? His hammock.
Get off of me! Get off!
And at first you don't think anything of it because people get up and they go to the bathroom in the middle of the night or whatever. But it takes a few seconds for you to key into it. But then you can see Herman is definitely struggling, and you can hear a kind of a choking sound.
Hey, there be no fighting on this here ship.
It's a murdering me.
Aye, get off of him, lad. What be the meaning of
Okay.
this?
And Herman Shepherd, we're going to go to another round with you.
Okay.
What is your dexterity?
Dex is 78.
Okay.
Wow, how did that happen?
Yeah, so, the hands try to close over your neck once again, but you are starting to squirm away a little bit. What is your current choice of action?
Well, in addition to calling out, I'm going to try to fall out of my bunk onto the floor, holding these hands, if they're hands, away from my throat. But I'm yelling, "Help! Assistance! Somebody's trying to murder me!"
Let's go back to John DeWitt.
Yeah,
John.
I'm intervening. I'm swearing a blue streak. Like, now there ain't gonna be no fucking fighting on this here fine vessel of God, or you'll all go goddamn. It's just.
Yeah.
And I'm moving to intervene because I think it's another member of the crew attacking him.
Okay, yeah.
So what's got into you, lad?
It does look a lot like that.
Leave him alone.
You try to jump out of your hammock, and your feet are somehow tangled in the ropes, like unexpectedly, and the hammock almost like pulls you back. And in the meantime, wow. Okay.
Is that me who's pulled back? Or
no, you are now sliding around on the floor trying to avoid the cold water which is pouring down on you, and the thing which is trying to grab you again. What is your action this round, Herman Shepard?
I'm going to try and punch it in the face. Is
okay,
there a
go
face?
ahead and make. There, I mean, you have cold water, you have cold salt water like poured in your eyes, so it's really hard to make out, but you think you can approximately punch the head.
Punch.
If
right.
that's, yeah. Go ahead and make a brawl roll.
Oh, brawl. Okay, where's my brawl? Brawl, fighting brawl. Got a 17 out of 25, so that's just a regular.
Okay. Okay, roll some damage.
Let's see, damage for a fish pump. What is it for a fist?
It's 1d3 plus damage bonus for unarmed.
D3. I have no damage bonus. Oh, it's a 3.
Okay. Your fist smacks into something cold and wet, but and you hear a kind of a growling sound, but whatever it is redoubles and comes back at you again.
John DeWitt, this ain't no crew member.
John DeWitt, what are you doing?
I'm scrambling to intervene because I'm what else could it be but the crew is fighting and I have to put a stop to this now.
Yeah, John DeWitt, as you manage to untangle one foot and the other foot is still tangled. So now you're in this very awkward position where you're like partway out of your hammock. One foot is still tangled in the ropes. And you can see Herman Shepard over there being strangled by somebody. You're not sure why it's so hard to get your foot out of this stupid rope.
Yeah, I'm trying my best to get free. And I'm kind of just shouting now, just like,
yeah.
Oi, everyone, wake up. Herman is in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you make a spot hidden for me?
67 is a failure.
Okay. Herman Shepard,
Too dark.
your choice of action.
I'm going to try to bring my knee up so that I can push the thing away with my foot.
Okay.
Get some leverage to push the thing away.
Okay. Make another extreme strength check for me.
That's the Kirk maneuver. That's exactly what he does.
I got 48 out of 50.
Oh, perfect Kirk.
So I don't have enough luck to spend to make it better. Oh,
okay.
Shit.
Yeah. You do try to push the thing off. Unfortunately, that does not move. It gets its hands around your neck again and begins squeezing. You take 1 point of damage.
Fuck.
John DeWitt, as you're trying to untangle your other foot, it sort of seems like somebody should be paying attention to you, and you look around and you see that all the other hammocks around are empty. It's just you and the other two in this room.
I don't know I'm just focusing on getting my leg free.
Yeah. Every time you think you get this loop off of your foot, it seems like another loop almost somehow is around it again, and you're not even sure how this is happening at this point.
Do I have a knife anywhere within reach so I can just cut these blasted ropes?
Yeah. So you reach for a knife and start
Yep.
sawing it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Herman Shepherd.
Damn ye hammock! Damn ye!
The hands are back around your neck.
Do I have a knife?
You do have a knife, yes.
All right, I'm going to try and do this, like to stab it in the head or the neck.
Yeah. Make it. Go ahead and try.
Roll. Why is my fighting so bad? Oh, crap. I missed it by 5. I will spend 5 luck. Jesus.
Okay.
To hit. That's a
Okay.
1d4.
You hear an unnatural scream. Something that doesn't sound human at all. But the hands continue to crush your neck, and this time you start hearing some popping sounds that really shouldn't be coming from your neck. You take 6 points of damage.
Oh.
I need you to make a Constitution check.
Oh, I take 6 points of damage.
Mm-hmm.
Constitution. Oh, I'm hale and hearty. I've got 80, so let's see. 55 out of 80. It's a regular.
Okay. Yeah. So you managed to regain to keep your consciousness. And let's go back to DeWitt. DeWitt, you managed to finally get your foot free. You've cut yourself loose of all the ropes. And you sort of stand up on your feet. And as you're looking at the figures of one figure standing over Herman Shepherd, they seem to sort of move away from you, like the room almost enlarges and stretches, and it's like the distance between you and them just suddenly grows to hundreds of feet. Herman Shepherd, what are you doing?
Yelling, "Mom, you always were a bitch." I'm trying to keep my consciousness. All I can do is try to hit with the knife again.
Yeah, go ahead.
87. I am too weak, and I'm seeing black spots, and I'm starting to go. So I miss.
John DeWitt, let's go back to you.
Yeah, I'm running. I'm trying to cross this distance.
You're running. The figure standing over Herman Shepherd turns around, and you can see the face now, and it looks like Matthew Cole, but the eyes are rolled up into his skull, all white. And that is when you wake up and suddenly sit up. And you're like, oh my God, what a nightmare. And you look over at Herman Shepherd. Herman Shepherd is white with his mouth open, salt water all over him. And his eyes are wide in horror. And I need you to make a sanity check.
Oh, God. 84 is a failure.
Okay. So that's 2 sanity points for you. And let's go back to Matthew Cole. Matthew,
have I been in the water? I'm so drenched. Is that what it is? I mean,
you're not sure how this happened. You're not even sure how you got to the top deck. And behind you, you hear someone that sounds like Richard Peterson, one of the other crew members, saying, "Mr. Cole? Mr. Cole?"
Yes, what's going on?
What are you doing up?
Oh no, I've woke up to find myself here looking at the sunrise, and
You see Richard Peterson and Melvin Weeks, who are apparently on watch, standing behind you on the top deck and sort of staring at you in a puzzled way.
did I try to climb into the water? What was I doing?
You're not really sure. You don't have no memory of anything other than the dream you just had.
Oh, the terrible brain, yes. Oh. I'll go to the front of the boat. I'll go to the front of the boat and just look out at the waves and just see do I see anything out there? Is it just?
It's actually a very, very still and beautiful morning. The sunset is glorious, like pinks and orange and all this sort of stuff. And the sea is just amazing. But you begin to hear also some voices coming from down below decks as the men begin to discover Herman Shepard's body.
It be murder! Murder! Where be Mr. Cole?
So I'm looking into the water to see if into the distance, into the depths, to see if I see this temple for some reason. It's like staring into the waves.
No, nothing like that. No. And as word gets out that somebody below decks was murdered, all of a sudden eyes begin to turn towards Matthew Cole.
What? What are you devils looking at?
I seize this man.
What? What are you talking about?
We found Herman Shepard strangled till his eyes popped out like the eyes of a gull, all covered in salt water like ye be.
What, Mr. DeWitt? You talk madness.
I saw ye in my dreams strangling a Herman Shepard, and I wake up to find him dead and bilge with the sea foam, and ye up here by your lonesome covered in the same stuff.
That, Mr. DeWitt, that will not stand in any court of law, and you know.
Aye, but this here not be a court of law, this here be the sea.
It's at this point that the captain comes out. He's like, what's going on here? What's the meaning of this, men?
I awoke to find old able seaman Herman Shepard is strangled to death in his cot, all covered in seawater, and here be Matthew Cole all up and about in the early hour by his lonesome.
I was looking at the ocean. Mr. Shepard was a great
be doing
friend of
more
mine.
than looking at the ocean.
What? I have not touched the man. Why would I? He was as close to a brother as any man could have on a ship.
Aw.
You
Put
were.
that man in irons, Mr. DeWitt.
What?
Take him below.
Are you mad, sir? I've touched no one. You're crazed. Are you filled with insanity?
Hey, now ye come easy, lad. Ye come easy.
I will not be blamed for a murder I didn't do.
Hey, but I fear I'm blaming you for something that you did do. Now, ye come easy, Mr. Cole.
I'm tempted to jump over the Yeah, into the ocean.
That would be suicide.
You'll never take me alive!
No, I'm not doing that, because if someone killed Mr. Shepard, then that would be horrible to me too. All right, Mr. DeWitt, I will come with you, but I did not kill Mr. Shepard. I would not kill a brother like that. So I'll come with him.
I'll clap him in irons and take him to down below.
Okay. I think this would be a good place for us to end our first session.
Oh, very exciting. And I'm dead.
That sucks. Thom was my friend.
Yeah.
This sucks.
Yeah.
I tried to save you, laddie. I tried my best.
Why couldn't I have saved him?
So,
you know why you couldn't have
I
saved him,
didn't
you
kill
lying
him.
dog.
No.
You murderous.
I want to point something out about this scenario is there are a couple of attacks that are not really very fair. Right. I would normally not do this to people in a game the way I attacked Thomas today. But it is part of the plot. And as consequence of this, there is a way for us to continue to play together through the entire scenario. And that is, Thomas, you have your choice of any character on the boat that you want to take over at this point. And so you will take over that character in the next session. And you will continue to play with us that way. Right. And if this happens to anybody else along the way, then the same kind of thing will happen there.
Excellent.
Okay.
Our players included Morgan Llewellyn, Holly Buteau, Preston Firestone, Troy Lehman, Kaylin McDowell, and myself with Stefan Amshey as the Keeper of Arcane Lore. We have a Discord server where you can chat with other members. You can set up private games. You can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Spotify, Podbean, or iTunes. Support for the show is provided by our patrons who are listed in the closing credits. If you would like to show us your appreciation, please visit our Patreon page, or you can use the Super Thanks button just below the screen. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Thom Raley, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.